Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Sesi from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering and Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Today we are discussing about machine reference model in cloud computing. So virtualization. What is virtualization? If an environment is virtualized at unlike levels of the stack or computation, then it requires a reference model which defines the interfaces within the level of abstractions. And this level of abstraction hides the details of implementations. So this is the idea of the project. Then the virtualization techniques can substitute any one layer and can intercept the calls which are directed to it. That's why a clear separation within the layers can simplify their implementations, which only need an emulation of the interfaces and a proper response with the underlying layer. Then this is the reference model. Like it shows applications, libraries, operating system, hardware, and system calls, user face and kernel models. At the base layer, the model for the hardware is declared or manifested on terms of an architecture. This is known as instruction set architecture. Simply we call as ISA. It shows the application to infrastructure. In this diagram, ISA is related to the applications with system calls of users mode and kernels mode and the hardware. Instruction set architecture. It defines the instruction set for the processor, memory, register and interrupt management. It is an interface between software and hardware, and it is mandatory for the operating system. Developers of applications who directly manages core hardware. The operating system layer is separated by the application binary interface from the application and libraries which are managed by operating system. Application binary interface. It also known as ABI. It covers the facts such as low-level data types and call conventions, and it also defines a format for many programs. Mainly, system calls are defined at this level. Moreover, this type of interface enables portability of various applications and libraries across operating system which employ the same application binary interface. Application programming interface is represented by the highest level of abstraction. This application programming interface applications to libraries and or the core operating system for an action is to be performed in the application level ABI, and the two which are responsible to make it done. Mainly CPU runs on two privilege levels and they are user mode and the kernel mode. The user mode, in this mode memory access is restricted up to some limit. Various access to peripherals is denied. And the kernel mode. In this mode, CPU has instructions which manage memory and how to be accessed. And it also has instructions which enables access of the peripherals like disks and network cards from one programming which is running to another running program, and it also switches CPU automatically. Next, hardware level virtualization. Hardware level virtualization is the virtualization technique that provides an abstract execution environment in terms of computer hardware on top of which a guest operating system can be run. In this model, the guest is represented by the operating system, the host by the physical computer hardware, the virtual machine by its emulation, and the virtual machine manager by the hypervisor. The hypervisor is generally a program or a combination of software and hardware that allows the abstraction of the underlying physical hardware. The hardware virtualization is also called as the system virtualization. Then the hypervisors. It is a form of virtualization software used in cloud hosting to divide and allocate the resources on various pieces of hardware. The program which provide partitioning, isolation or abstraction is called virtualization hypervisor. Hypervisor is a hardware virtualization technique that allows multiple guest operating systems to run on a single host system at the same time. A hypervisor is sometimes also called a virtual machine manager. Then types of hypervisor. The type 1 is it runs directly on underlying host system. It is also known as native hypervisor or bare metal hypervisor. It does not require any base server operating system. It has direct access to hardware resources. Examples of Type 1 hypervisors include Citrix Zen Server, VMware ECXI, and Microsoft Hyper-V hypervisor. Then Type 2 hypervisors. A host operating system runs on underlying host system. It is also known as hosted hypervisor. Basically, a software installed on an operating system. Hypervisor asks operating system to make hardware calls, and the examples of type 2 hypervisor includes VMware Player or Parallels Desktop. Hosted hypervisor are often found on endpoints like PCs. Then the hypervisor reference model. There are three main modules coordinate in order to emulate the underlying hardware. The first one is the dispatcher, and the second one is allocator, and the last one is interpreter. It shows the model of the reference of hypervisor. Dispatcher. It behaves like the entry point of the monitor and reroutes the instructions of the virtual machine instance to one of the other two modules, allocator, and it is responsible for deciding the system resources and to be provided to the virtual machine instance. It means whenever virtual machine tries to execute an instruction that results in changing the machine resources associated with the virtual machine. The allocator is invoked by the dispatcher, and the interpreter. The interpreter module consists of interpreter routines. These are executed whenever virtual machine executes a privileged instruction. That's for today's session. Thank you. Hope you understand well. We'll meet in next video.